Hi, it's Rebecca with Empathic Crow. We're going to start out today with a general reading. Excuse my water bottle. Take a sip real quick. If you have watched any of my readings before, I sometimes will sit and channel beforehand. Sometimes I just let the messages come as they are. Today, Spirit said it's time for real talk, so we'll see what that means. Keep in mind that any of these readings that I post on YouTube or any other platform, if I shorten them long form or create a short crow message, whatever it is, they are general readings. So always use your intuition or trust your intuition, use your discernment. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You may be tired of hearing that, but it's true with any message that you get from anyone, because not everything, especially in a collective read, is going to resonate with you. And if it does resonate, then with the messages I give, there may be some form of guidance, but it's never telling you exactly what to do, because even when you have possibly a predestined soul purpose, 111 on the clock when I said that, whatever it is, it's kind of like a message that I did last year. I can't remember which message it was. It was probably around October of 2025 or maybe even earlier. Either way, I have 400 and some videos apparently up on my YouTube. But either way, it was about the group 7 and the 144,000. I don't know why I'm going over this, but I guess it's important because that message is standing out in my mind and I don't always remember what I channel. That while it is helpful to have groups of people who have similar and common goals and that we want to do things, it's remembering that no matter whether you are chosen, you choose. You chose and or you choose. You choose what you do. You can have even an assignment at work. If we take it down to a day-to-day level, an assignment at work or at school, and you decide that you're going to put it off or you're not going to do it or it feels too hard, or you choose to go ahead and do it, or you do it ahead of time, or you do it whatever way you do it. So remembering that you always have free will, you always have sovereignty, and you always have the autonomy and ability to choose what your path is. Doesn't mean it'll always be right. There are consequences, positive and negative, for whatever we choose. So maybe that's the channeled message just in real time. So the decks that came through, I definitely wanted to use the Modern Witch, and I've got my stones beside of me, so if we have to cover anybody up, luckily the bottom of the deck is not somebody we have to cover up, we will. But I love this deck because it is by Lisa Sterl, and it has a lot of inclusivity in it. And this is June. Whenever I post this message, it is June, and this is Pride Month. And whatever you believe about that, that is beside the point. The tarot doesn't care. Tarot doesn't have masculine and feminine, even if there are masculine or feminine archetypes and characters, roles, things like that. So it feels really important to, Spirit says, real talk. So I got some of my decks that are a bit more direct and have some messages that aren't just, they're still helpful, but they help to bring in, and I do this even if I'm using a deck that's more positive, they help to bring in the aspect of that shadow side. Interesting beginning to this. So if I've already scared you off, I apologize. If I haven't scared you off, stay here, be part of the journey, and let's see where it goes. So I'm going to take a breath to ground myself. You can ground with me if you like, and we will see where we go. We will start out with the Modern Witch Tarot. So we're going to allow ourselves to just receive whatever is most helpful. So set your intentions and let's go. So Spirit, you didn't really give me a lot of guidance. This is a harder deck for me to shuffle, but I heard shuffle 2 times. I've already shuffled it a few times already. It's a very wonderful deck with great card stock. But I have small hands and some arthritis, so please excuse me. When I'm pulling the cards, I do shuffle, if you see me do this before, so they still get mixed up and they come out how they come out. Not that any other way is better or worse, this is just the way that is comfortable to me. I try to keep all my cards the same directions because I will read the reversed, or whatever. I read whatever meaning comes through, and I know a lot of other people do too. Not sure why I'm feeling called to, and that's been a theme even with the zodiac readings that I just put out. So if you've seen any of those, there were several signs where there was a lot of over-explaining. So maybe you're feeling like right now you're having to be very careful with your words and explain things that you've already explained because people aren't understanding. Oh, and I just realized my nails, the polish is chipped because I don't have the patience to sit and wait for them to dry when I do regular polish. So just ignore, and sometimes I'm very hard on my fingers and fingernails, so some of them have broken. So just ignore all that. It caught my attention in the camera. So maybe there's some distraction. The energy doesn't feel chaotic. It just feels like I'm seeing, oh, what are those? Like dendrites. I will not get up and get my Merlinite magician stones with the dendritic agate or whatever, but where you have it, the one line and it kind of branches off. Like that's how this is feeling. Like there's so many different pathways. It's like neural synapses and things where it can go off in so many different directions. All right, Spirit, where are we going with this? We're starting out with the Three of Wands, and I do have a actual ring light, but it's not a ring light. It's a flat light, like my desk lamp. But let's cross our, I was going to give a thumbs up, hopefully a thumbs up. We're going to cross our fingers that it does really well, because I want you to be able to see the cards and for me not to be blinded or my ears to hurt from the sounds of the lights. So anyway, I'm laughing because I'm saying I'm seeing all these pathways, and the card that flies out is the Three of Wands. So with this, notice that the blue, that water, is down near the bottom. And the reason that's standing out to me, and we had 7-Eleven again, that kept coming out in the zodiac reads too. The reason this is standing out to me is it felt like my communication was just really secondary to, I see all this yellow in the sky, which for me would be solar plexus. It's like the communication and even the emotions are secondary to this yellow, which the unbalanced solar plexus would be those anxieties that make you feel like you have to over-explain and things like that. Now, this person is wearing a red dress, so that would bring in the root chakra and some of that grounding energy. So I feel like you're trying to get grounded. But if this reading is for you, you're feeling like it's hard to get grounded when I'm not sure what direction I'm going in. Like there's so many different pathways. There was a crow message recently, the Robert Frost path less taken or something like that. A path not taken, I'm not sure. And even out here, there's 2 sailboats. Not sure, my allergies have been going crazy, so please just excuse me. When you've got MCAS and allergies, you never know what the day is going to be. Now, one of the things that's pretty cool here is, I don't know if you can see, but she's got like shorts or something underneath this dress, this tunic, whatever it is. And I like that, especially where she looks like she's about to go on a journey. So it's like being prepared. Like you can still have, I'm hearing your cute clothes. You can still have your cute clothes, but you can also be practical and prepared. Like even her shoes, yes, they're boots, but that heel is not too high. She could walk in them. Over time, it probably would hurt, but she could walk in them if she needed to. I'm seeing cowboy boots as I say that. Now, I noticed that there's only a little bit of green over here in the corner. So this feels like in this decision with all these emotions that are being suppressed, difficult to communicate, and the anxiety's taking over, we have some green on the wands, that growth, and then we have this green over here, but it's like Spirit's calling you to bring your heart into it a little bit and not just stay all up in your head. And as I said that, I was seeing her hair where it's pulled back into the little braids. Might be braided, but it's kind of pulled back on the side. And so I feel like that's kind of bringing me to the crown chakra, being protected and being discerning, but not necessarily fully closing it off, but not allowing it to be so open that it leaves you more vulnerable. That was a lot from one card, but it's definitely what I'm feeling. Even with her stance, there's this stance that's like, I don't know which way to go, but I've got my wand. I've got my wand, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. All right. So we will continue going and see what comes for us. There is a little bit more green in there, but it is mostly muddy. So this may not have been an easy journey, or it's something where it may not feel like it's a clean, straightforward decision. It definitely does not feel like a clean, straightforward decision, because we got the Five of Wands, which could feel like there are people, places, situations, things that are coming up against you. But it also could be preparation, that you're trying to get ready for whatever this journey is. You've got your wands here where you're seeing the directions, even if you aren't sure which one to choose. And then this one, I feel like, because what I'm seeing now is the roots and that. Okay, so this is Dragon's Tongue. Yes, it has a name. I won't pick her up because I repotted her because her roots were starting to get bound into the smaller pot she was in. So she needed a bigger pot. So I repotted her earlier this morning. We're crossing our fingers. I've done pretty well on most repotting of plants, but there have been some that haven't. But hopefully she's happy. So she is a Moon Valley Palea. I may say that wrong. And so I repotted her this morning. And that was a lot because I got dizzier than I thought. Not that you need to know that, but maybe that was something to say. Like, repotting her, I was worried and I was getting dizzy. I had to sit down, but then I had to go to the hose. And maybe this is part of what I'm supposed to tell you, because she is safely in her home. We'll go ahead and get her. Oh. Even though she is a little heavy. You can see there are some areas where I'm a little worried about her, but that'll be okay. But she's got these little nubs on her leaves. That's why I call her Dragon's Tongue. And so you can see some parts of her look happy, some I'm not so sure about. But either way, I repotted her into this bigger pot, and I was trying to gently massage her roots to get her roots to not be bound into the dirt, and also so that I could get them to grow into the bigger space of this container. So the reason I'm saying that is because what I'm seeing is those pathways that you have feel like they're becoming tangled. It's like as you try to prepare and think about them, they're all starting to override is the word coming into my brain, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, it all starts to merge together. So then it feels like a battle in your mind, trying to tease through all of the things in order to figure it out. I swear, kind of like some of the zodiac readings, it feels like I'm struggling to get the phrases out. And that's the energy that this is. It's where it's like, I know what I want to say. I know where I'm going. It's just not coming as easily as I would expect it to. And then there's all these different layers that are coming in at the same time. So the Knight of Swords makes sense because this card is showing some pretty fast energy and needing to cut through all of these thoughts so it doesn't feel like a battle. It's like you're trying to, but I'm seeing somebody in a jungle now with, is it a scythe or a machete? Could be either. I don't know. I haven't cut through a jungle before, but they're going through and they're just trying to cut through. And as they go, there's like more and more, and it becomes more dense and more tangled. And that's the energy that I get with these cards so far in this reading. The information coming in is that you recognize that the path may look clear at first, or there are several paths that you feel like you can take. But it's not as easy or clear. The path is not just direct. There we go. As direct as you'd want it to be. And yet you're feeling, I don't feel like this is spirit trying to rush you. I feel like, Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. As I'm saying this, there's a crow outside my window and there's a mockingbird coming down. I know because I see the, the white stripes on the mockingbird, and he was coming down trying to peck, because mockingbirds are aggressive. Aggressive, right? Trying to peck at the crow, and the crow's just trying to fly, and the crow's starting to go up and the mockingbird followed, and then they went out of the window so I couldn't see them. And I feel like that is how you feel right now, that you're trying to make your path, and then here come these, whether it's ideas, people, situations, whatever it is, here come all these things that are unexpected distractions or difficulties, bumps in the road, whatever it is. And you're just wanting to cut through the crap and make a decision. So I feel like that's where the Knight of Swords energy is coming in, is that it's, you're like, I'm just ready to move on. I'm just ready to move on, and I can't. Thank you, Spirit. Perfect example out my window. That, I like I said, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, maybe I could, but I can't. So yeah, from Dragon's Tongue to the Crow and the Mockingbird, we'll see. Six of Cups. So some of this is coming from past situations that you've had. It may feel like some things from the past are making it harder for you to move forward, whether that's actually what's happening, or it just feels like it, or you're anticipating it. Because I see somebody who's about to go down a path, and all of a sudden there's those moments of the, oh wait, should I do this? I'm feeling like the anxiety coming up through my body. Should I do this? Is somebody going to be upset? Is somebody going to feel like I am not choosing them or not bringing them with me? They don't understand that I actually am doing this because of whatever. And so I feel like this is that past coming back, where you feel like, I want to do something for me because it had helped me, and you feel passionate about it. It could benefit other people too, but sometimes we have to focus on what we need and what's going to benefit us. And that can be really hard, especially when you're somebody who is very caring. So it feels like part of the reason that this feels like a battle, and it's hard to make those decisions. And I just noticed this. I didn't before. The yellow of the sky and then the yellow of the house. That's where the anxiety lies. In that past, in that house, whatever that house was. Childhood home, home with a previous partner, living with friends, whatever it is for you. But something from the past is kind of making it more difficult to move through this decision. And then also, just now what caught my eye is this blue here, and how I talked about with the blue here, and it's almost like reverse of how much blue versus that yellowish color is in this. And also that the blue is in the bottom here and the yellow is the bottom here. Is that when you've tried to communicate your thoughts, I feel like that's been part of where it feels like a battle. And then anyone that's coming in and saying, even if they're trying to help, well, did you think about this? Well, what about this? Or you need to focus on this. It just creates, as I said when I was talking about those dendrites and things like that, the situation where your brain is now feeling frazzled. That's the way it feels. Like it's just this electric current just... And you're feeling frazzled. Like, how do I move forward? I thought I had a clear path. I thought I knew what I wanted to do. And now everything has just been distorted, is the word coming into my mind, but that's not what I want to say. It's not coming into my mind, but it's like everything has just been amplified and ramped up, and there's all this stuff. It's like what I'm seeing now is somebody making a soup, like a vegetable soup, and the vegetable soup's looking really good. You got your vegetables in there. You've got your broth in there. It's looking really good. You're thinking, oh, maybe I'll add some seasonings. Maybe add a little salt, you add a little pepper. And then you're like, oh, I want to spice this up. And you go to add maybe some, I don't know, chili pepper or something like that. And all of a sudden you go to taste it and you're like, woof. And so that's the way it feels, is you're like excited about it. And then there's all this stuff. And then it's like, whoa, that was not what I wanted at all. Hopefully you're going down the rabbit holes with me here. All right, Spirit, anything else from this Modern Witch Tarot? You got stuff wanting to come out, but I want to let it just kind of come out naturally right now. Sometimes I'll pull it. we'll go with that. So the first card that came out, and it actually was face up, is the Hierophant. Notice she's got the red on as the majority of her dress, and then I also see the white. And I feel like this is the Hierophant as you. Not the Hierophant as you going outside of yourself to find the answers. This is you going within. This is connection with higher self. It's giving me the High Priestess energy. It's you listening to your intuition from a grounded point of view. Because when we're in that state where it feels like everything is just buzzing with electricity, it's exciting, but and sometimes it can spark really good ideas, but it doesn't mean that the ideas can really formulate in a way that's going to be helpful, because it's hard to really focus on them. So I feel like this is you being called to not go into that Knight of Swords, just try to cut through everything and move as quickly as you can, but to pull back and think it through and figure out what are the things that actually for you feel most helpful. There's a mountain behind her, and it's kind of clouded by these mist. And I feel like that's recognizing that, again, those things from the past, those hardships, those difficult situations, those times when people questioned what you wanted to do or how you were doing it or whatever, it's putting those in the past. They can be there. Sometimes those thoughts may be helpful because you may not have thought of something, and then you have a thought of, Aunt so-and-so said one time to me to, well, the only thing coming to me is like my Aunt Neen. She's passed, but she used to say to me when like jewelry would be broken or something like that, well, maybe keep it and you can use it for something else, because both of us are super creative. And so that's something that, yes, it's from the past. And sometimes it may not be helpful, because there are definitely times I go through stuff and I'm like, I've got too many things. I need to let some of these things go. But then I sit and I think, okay, can I actually turn this into something? What would I do with this? Or is it something that I really do need to just release, allow myself to let it go? So I feel like that's what this is saying, is there's the discernment as well in those things from the past. How helpful are the thoughts, the memories, and things that it brings in? And how can you focus on what you need to do going forward? With the two people down here, I feel like, even though this isn't like the traditional meaning of the card, I feel like that's you feeling like people are watching what you're doing. Whether they're watching what you're doing and you're feeling it as these people are wanting to see me succeed, or they're learning from me, or whatever it is, or if you feel like they're just watching you, I hear watching me to fail. So if you're feeling that way, it's also remembering that, again, your choice is yours to make. And what other people think, you can't control that. You can't stop them from thinking things. You can't stop them from trying to go against your decisions. You just have to decide what works for you now. And, okay, so I'm going to try to cover her up, but we have do I have everything covered? I think I do. We have the Star card. And again, with this red, that's kind of been a theme in this reading, that grounding. So she's allowing her emotions to pour out. She is in the water and on the earth. Like, she's balanced in that energy, and she's healing, and she's allowing herself to be in this light of the stars. So she is more visible. And so your healing may be happening in front of others, and people are going to have their opinions. You do not have to buy into their opinions. It is okay for you to do things that other people don't understand, because your journey is not the same as their journey. We'll take this Chakra Moon. My arm just knocked a card off, which was the Hierophant that we had just discussed. See if I can just hold it over her. Your journey is not their journey. Your journey is going to look different, and that is okay. All right. So I do love this deck, but we're talking fully drawn nudity. And I don't mind. You may not even mind, but I don't want to get banned on the platforms. So we're going to mind just a little bit. But it's coming back to even that first card for me, which is I'm looking, it's the only other one that has water in it. And I talked about the emotions and the communication being down at the bottom. And here it's more balanced because you've got the water. She's standing in the water. She's pouring the water. So she's not just pushing those emotions out to the side and standing back from them. Like, she's in the emotion. She is allowing herself to feel the emotion. You have to feel it in order to heal it. And it's not easy. And it does take you back into the Six of Cups energy that sometimes brings incredibly beautiful and sweet memories, and sometimes brings some very painful memories, especially when we look back at memories through the eyes of an adult rather than a child. Because even if you felt a certain type of way about something when you were a child, as an adult, you have more information, more knowledge, more experiences. And so that anxiety may ramp up more because you start to realize how maybe in the past you felt like being yourself, making your own decisions was a battle, and what if it is now? But it's reminding ourselves that if you're watching this, I always do 18 and up on my platforms. So I'm assuming that you are an adult. And if you're an adult, what's happened in the past, it does shape our current reality. However, we have choices. We have the responsibility to choose what works for us, what we want to do. Consequences, again, positive or negative, karma if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it, but we have the responsibility to. So I'm hearing to move on. Let's go to the Love Oracle to start with and kind of see what are some of the emotions that are involved here. Next, we'll do the Haunted Echoes Oracle. I'm going to shuffle just a couple of times. These are pre-shuffled, but sometimes it just feels right. So let's do that. All right, so what emotions need to be focused on? I guess we're going with those. So we have conflict and broken. And this lends into what I was talking about with the conflict of the Five of Wands, or at least the feeling of conflict, and then things that happen in our past, whether that is childhood, or even if it is relationships that happened within our adulthood, or work situations, anything that knocked us down. So conflict, clashing, differences, incompatibility. And that's really hard when you're feeling that way about people who you feel close to, or who have opinions, or maybe you even would want to talk to them about some of these decisions and things, and it can feel like it's just overwhelming. Notice I talked about the mist aspect back here, and I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, there's the mountain, and it's almost like there's a mist over top of it. And here we've got this mist coming out of the corner. And so I feel like that conflict, I'm seeing just like something kind of just like creeping up. It's like, you know, it's there, you're anticipating it. The anxiety may feel high. The anxiety, yellow here, solar plexus chakra, may feel high. And the situations from the past may have made you feel broken, shattered, heartbroken, and destroyed. But it's remembering that this is a mirror, right? It's a broken mirror, but it's a reflection. It is a reflection of the past. And while your past shapes you, you are not your past. Notice too, with the fractures, it's kind of like I was talking about with like the dendrites and the nervous system breaking off and things like that. The fracture can make you feel like you're scattered. It can make it seem like there's things going in all these different directions. But the mirror in this case is still whole. It's still within the frame. So I want to say that that frame is you. There may be pieces and parts of you that have been hurt and feel fractured over the years, but that doesn't mean that you, like, look, the star card, it doesn't mean that you are not a whole person. And moving through that shadow work, and now I understand why Spirit was like, all right, real talk. It's not easy to do. Sometimes people make it seem so easy. If you just do this, if you just do that. Having worked in behavioral health for so long, I can tell you, I understand. I've told myself, even if I just did this, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard it from other professionals, whether that's me seeing a doctor or something, and they're like, if you had just cut back this or drink this or do whatever. Or I would say to people, if we could just do this, wouldn't that be great? But the thing is, sometimes you can't just do something and then all the pieces feel like they fit, or now it's fixed. Everything feels like it's fine. And also, whether somebody is a professional or not, whether they are even a specialist, our human brains only have so much capacity for knowledge. And also, you know more about what's going on within yourself sometimes. You're not going to have all the answers. But sometimes there may even be missing pieces that your people around you may not see, whether that's your family, your friends, your doctors, whatever, because you don't even know how to communicate what you're experiencing, what's going on. I have come out recently in some of my videos, and I don't know why I'm feeling called to share this. I guess today's a me share some of my stuff day. But I am neurodivergent, late diagnosed, and I have been more recently diagnosed with 3 conditions that can be highly co-occurring with that. Hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, MCAS, and POTS. And so sometimes it's hard for the doctors to know exactly what's going on with any of those conditions because the research is coming out, but there's so many pieces that 3111, when I said that, go together, or it can be different for different people. There are some commonalities. That's what research and science is. It's correlation. What do we typically see? When X happens, what does Y tend to do? It's not usually a straight point from this equals this. Very rarely is it causation. It's usually correlation, and then we try to figure out what's going to be the best thing. So the reason I bring that up is there are medications and treatments and things that have been introduced to me. And as I've started some of those treatments, some of them are helping with one thing, but then something else is getting worse. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to help something, but this is getting worse. And so I'm having to pull back and think through, okay, how do I communicate this to my doctors? What can I research to try to help with this without them feeling like I'm trying to self-diagnose? I will say though, you being able to, again, pull back into yourself and figure out what's going on for you does help to navigate through the treatment. Because like I said, any of us, even somebody who's in a position of authority or whatever, we only can know so much. So this whole thing, and maybe that's why I felt called to say that, is you can feel very scattered. You can feel broken or confused, but it's about coming back to yourself and trying to figure out the things. Because even like in some of the groups that I have followed for those conditions, there's all these different people with all these different experiences, and some of it's helpful because it's like, oh wait, is that a thing? Let me look into that more. And then sometimes it takes you down this rabbit hole that may or may not be related, and it feels like now I just have all this information in my head. So 3311, when I said that, maybe this is partly a message, a reminder to me, but hopefully within this you're getting some messages for you too. With that, I said Haunted Echoes is coming to me. I'm just going to shuffle one time, and then we'll start pulling some cards. That was the worst shuffle ever. So we will shuffle another time. We'll try it the regular way. Hurts my thumbs a little bit, but we'll do it. Whew. I mean, we're at over 33 minutes, but this is, of course, been a very, it feels in-depth, broad, full reading information. Let's see if I can pick these up without having to stop the camera. I don't know. We'll see. One of the perks of being hypermobile, I usually can reach things, even if it means that my joints are not my friend. And the party tricks are no longer fun. Okay. So I'm going to keep in mind that this one I picked up upside down, and we'll see if that means anything. Rising spirits, from the ashes of the past, you soar into your rebirth, overcome destruction. The last card we just talked about was the broken mirror. And we talked about the past and how it can, sorry, the outside of my nose itches, how it can affect what's going on for us right now. Now, some of these cards do have misprints on things, so if it does, ignore that. But from the ashes of the past, you soar into your rebirth. So this is you, again, taking back the power and saying, nobody defines who I am. I define who I am, no matter what happened to me. The Carl Jung quote, and it's been a while, funny enough, since I've quoted it, that I absolutely love. I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become. I think that's it. I used to know that by heart. I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But that Carl Jung quote is what comes to mind when I'm thinking of this. Whatever happened to you in the past, that Six of Cups, it does not define you. As I said, you get to decide what that looks like for you. All right, the one that came out, or I picked up upside down, Seat of Solace. Yeah, it was meant for me to pick that up upside down. Taking time to be alone can renew your weary spirit, create sacred space. This whole reading, it feels like that's what's needed, and that's not what necessarily is being done right now. Even if you've tried to take some time, like I'm seeing somebody sitting and trying to even write things down, do that intuitive journaling, but it feels like there's so many thoughts and it gets overwhelming. And Spirit is saying, I'm seeing you closing the book and just sitting. Just sitting, not even trying to focus on anything specific, but just sitting. I'm seeing two things. So for some of you, that may be sitting outside in nature and just allowing yourself, I'm hearing just exist. Just sit and exist. That's what I'm hearing. And for some people, that may be going into a quiet space where you feel comfortable. So I'm seeing somebody like a stack of pillows and a blanket, just feeling really comfortable and just allowing yourself to slow down, to breathe, and let the thoughts come naturally. All right, Spirit, this is beautiful. Where are we going? I've got several decks, does not mean we have to use them all, except for I'm feeling called to them all. So we will continue. So this is a longer read. I do leave the thing on for YouTube to create automatic chapters. I did do timestamps before, but it was a little much for me. So I'm trying to work smarter, not harder, as best I can for my energetic needs. And it also felt like it just kind of gave the whole reading in the timestamps. And I don't know about you, but I like to explore as I go. You can fast forward, you can just listen. You don't have to watch. If I show you a card, it's just because I'm showing you what I'm seeing or how I'm connecting it. But those hopefully will help navigate. If you're with me still this far, thank you. And let's see where we're going. So the first card to flip out is, and you see it was reversed, is the Wisdom card. This is a heart chakra card. And with this person, again, red. It is a darker, more earthy version of red, more of like a brick red. But she has the world within her. So kind of like the world, this is not the world card, but when I see this, I think of that phrase, the world is your oyster. And so this, where you have so many choices and you're creating that, and she's creating the things for her with that red and that earthy aspect, especially. Like I said, it's being grounded. And then those two plants. So maybe this is why I talked about dragon's tongue, my plant. It's like seeds that have started to grow. And then, oh, we've got the star card from our reading, right? And there's a star right here. Like, it's almost like, if you can see it with my crappy lighting that will hopefully be different soon. There's the star. There's also a dove right here. So that can be peace, hope, could be either, could even be grief. Because doing that work where we're releasing things and we're allowing ourselves to heal, it does cause grief. That's one of the difficult emotions that we may go through, especially if we're reviewing stuff from the past and seeing that it's, when I see these pink cups in this modern witch chair, I think of rose-colored glasses. When we see that it's not exactly what we thought that it was going to be. seeing things through those rose-colored glasses. And now, like maybe as a kid, whatever is in this cup looked really magical with those sparkles and stuff, but it wasn't what you thought, and it was not magical. And then also noticing that there is, well, that I never have really paid attention that detail hasn't come up to me, but there's a sage, a smudge stick here. And then we also have this divine being, whatever that is for you. So this is definitely connecting with yourself, your higher self, divine spirit team, whatever it is. That dove may even be connecting with some ancestral connections, or even just going through the memories of some of those connections. But I feel like the biggest piece of this card, just like when I was talking about the Hierophant, is that wisdom is coming from you. It is you using your intuition, discerning what is meant for you, trusting yourself, and moving forward in a way that is helpful to you. But just like with this Knight of Swords, so it's come back around, we've got impatience. And notice that this is a throat chakra card. There's a lot of blue in here. And I had talked about the throat chakra being a bit muted here. Whereas communication may be muted because you're worried it creates conflict. So throat chakra card, we have a very similar divine being. They're different, but very similar divine being here in the background. And notice too, what I just saw is that this one is fully formed, whereas this one is more like spirit form. And so it may even be like this person is intentionally connecting. This person is just trying to get to the thing that they want. That's a blue moon, which we just had the blue moon in Sagittarius, a double moon or second full moon within a month that only happens every so often within a year. And so the blue moon or any full moon being that release, the release of the past. And so it feels like the impatience is that healing takes time, and it's not necessarily the time that you want it to be. And you cannot just bypass. Because notice in this card, the green is down at the bottom. There's more blue. So that heart is being suppressed or pushed to the side. It's like, yeah, I'll deal with a little bit of the heart and the emotions. Whereas this is like a full embrace and embodiment of those emotions, understanding that even difficult emotions, it doesn't mean that you have to hold on to them, but we have to be able to release them with love and understanding that they led to the decisions that we're making now. They led to who we are now, and that anything that still feels broken within us, it's not that it has to be fully whole. I'm seeing like the thing, and I don't know how true it is. I haven't fully looked into it. But where you see the images on the internet for so long of cracked pieces of pottery, and I think that it's credited on these posts. So again, don't quote me on this. I don't fully know. But that in I believe it's the Japanese culture, for some broken items, they may use gold to put them back together, which even gold putting back together or transforming it into something different, something beautiful, that's alchemy. And you're not going to just do it in the snap of a finger. So it's recognizing that in order to alchemize your life, your emotions, your situation, it's going to take time. And impatience is going to hold you back. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. All right, so let's pull an affirmator card. Excuse me. To round this reading off. Spirit, these cards are fun and kind of sassy. I try not to get banned because some of them do use some swear words, and I try to be careful. But we will see. So what is an affirmator? Because this is definitely a full message. To just give some encouragement to anyone who's watching this and may still be a bit on the fence. This card is pink. It's heart chakra, and it is abundance. And it was 44 something, 4414, I think, when I had looked up to say that. Congratulations. It seems you're due. And then it has a little, but that's marked through. And then in tiny writing, it says an infinitely big piece of abundance pie. Feel like you don't deserve it? Knock it off. It's already plated and ready to hit your table. Reluctant to take it? Shut your hole. Abundance pie is big enough to serve everyone. So get your whipped cream ready, unless you're lactose intolerant, and enjoy your well-deserved metaphorical dessert. And this is a bonus card. So again, Spirit is saying it may not be pretty, it may not be what you want, but it's your choice what you do. You're healing, and there is so much abundance that can come from what you're doing, like this wisdom, where the seeds have been planted, they're growing. It's reconnecting to yourself, reconnecting with whatever guidance here on this planet or in the astral realm, other dimensions, whatever it is for you. Source, God, angels, doesn't matter. Whatever it is for you, it's a reconnection and birthing of new things for yourself, including that abundance and knowing that you are an abundant manifester. And again, green and pink, both heart chakra colors. So this is not going to be easy, but Spirit's calling you to go ahead and take the journey. Not in a way that you're trying to impatiently run through it as quick as you can, but in a way where you let go of the past, or at least release it with love. Full moon, release it with love. And come into yourself in a way that you know who you are. And even when other people say whatever they want to say, because they're going to say whatever they're going to say, that you know that this is the journey that works for you. And it's not always going to be easy. And sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right decision. Right or wrong, it just means that you have to take a step back to the drawing board and figure out how to move forward from there. Part of this is you having that heart chakra energy for yourself and allowing yourself to accept yourself regardless of any of the past or any of the pieces that you may feel are broken. Because you are. Let me see if I can pick it up and still cover her. Because she is full frontal. You are healing. But you are the star. So we can't always stay out of the spotlight. Conflict, it may come. It may come. But you just do what you need to do to feel, I'm hearing, whole and comfortable within yourself. I hope that helps. That definitely was a long reading. There were times that it felt like we were kind of going all over the place, but it all came together in the end. And it may even be the energy that you've been feeling with this situation, whatever it is for you. Again, it is a general reading, so any personal reads always are going to be focused on your energy, and it's going to be something that feels more aligned or accurate for you throughout the read, whereas this is something that I'm focusing on the energy of the collective, what's going on right now for more than one person. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Trust your intuition always, no matter what I or anyone else says. Use your discernment, and I hope this helps. Private readings are available. They are available through my website. If you have any questions, let me know. I have had a few times when the website has not been working the way that it's supposed to, but nobody ever told me, which is fine. So if you ever have that problem, just let me know. I'm a pretty easygoing person. It may take me 24 to 48 hours to respond to you, but I respond as soon as I can. So I, again, hope this helps, and I hope to see you again in the future. Thank you so much for being here, liking, sharing, subscribing. It does help the channel, and I am tickled every time it happens. I will be honest. It amazes me how things have grown, and I'm incredibly grateful to you, and I'm grateful that people are getting some of the messages that are helpful to them. So regardless, thank you so much and take care.